Hey folks, Deano here again. This time taking a look at something, I'll admit, even for me it's a bit out of left field. Yeah, this is the Wing Gundam from Mobile Suit Gundam Wing, specifically a bootleg. This is a model kit in the 1 to 144th scale, which roughly equates to about 4 inches, so it's a bit smaller than your standard figure. But yeah, me being me, I was trolling AliExpress, and this came up in my deal section. And you'll never guess how much this was. This was only £4. Like, literally only £4. Obviously it's a bootleg. You know me, I have to give bootlegs their shot. And I've probably just put off every single Gunpla viewer in one fell swoop. But there we go. But yeah, for those of you who don't know, Gundam Wing came out in the West roughly the same time as Dragon Ball Z did in the 90s. So if you've watched Dragon Ball Z as a kid, chances are you also watched Gundam Wing, because at least in the UK, it was on right before it, every day, like clockwork. Yeah, the Wing Gundam is piloted by Hiro Yui, which is basically everyone's favourite emo pilot that loves self-destructing his suits. Like, don't ask me why or how. He just wants to get the job done. He doesn't want it to fall in enemies' hands. But yeah, he's basically a child assassin, for lack of a better phrase. But yeah, while Dragon Ball is my bread and butter, Gundam Wing, specifically, will always hold a special place in my heart, because it was one of the first anime that ever got me into anime in the first place. Like, so much so that this figure itself, I, in my ignorant youth, attempted to build one of these when I was like 11, 12, something like that. Almost obviously didn't have the correct tools and stuff, so it was atrocious. It looked horrible and put me off building models for years until the Dragon Ball line came out, the Figurized Standard and the Star Wars ones. Those were the first models I had built for near enough a decade. But yeah, don't know where that is now. That model kit is probably well and truly in the bin. Not that you would have wanted to see it anyway, but yeah. Felt I had to get this guy just to try my hand at it one more time. And spoilers, there's more on the way, because I really enjoyed building this. Link is in the description below if you want to buy it. Like I said, it was only £4 shipped. It might be a bit more now. It varies whether they've got a sale on or such and such. But yeah, let's take a look at the box now. So I'll say right off the bat, the box did not survive the shipping process very well. I get that the model kit this is based off, this being a bootleg obviously, yeah, the model kit is based off is very old at this point. I think it's 10, maybe 12 years old. I think it's high grade after Colony Wing Gundam, in 1/144 scale, obviously. It's the exact same box, just they've changed the names about a bit. The reason I have not mentioned the company name yet is because I am afraid that YouTube will demonetize me for it. So here goes nothing. The name of the company is XingDong, and that will be the only time I say it. You can figure it out for yourself why I think that's a bit dodgy. But yeah, it's spelled XingDong, but I believe that's how it's pronounced. That's how everyone else has pronounced it, so that's how I'm pronouncing it. Do not murder me for that. But yeah, instead of Wing Gundam, it's called Wing Warrior. Colony's Liberation Organisation Wing Warrior, to be exact. Specifications, colours and contents may vary from illustrations. They don't really. It looks quite good. I'll say that off the rip. The only real problem I have with it is the face. The actual front of the face doesn't have as much detail as the actual pictures had, but I think that was the exact same with the original model. So yeah. Side of the box, we have a couple of illustrations there from the original. We've got a blurb there, which I would assume that is Pidgin English, but someone can read that for me if they wish. On the side we have Wing Warrior again, and on this side we have some more illustrations and details of everything that he comes with. Yeah, you will notice there's quite a bit more detail on that face compared to what's actually built. Specifically the lines on the front of the face and on the side. I did look on it to see if I could panel line it, because spoilers, this isn't how it looks exactly out of the box. I did do a bit of extra to it, but I'll detail that shortly. And on this side, exact same. So yeah, not that you'll really keep a model kit box anyway. They're a bit bulky. I no longer have the figurized ones, for example. But yeah, let's take a look at the figures accessories. So bearing in mind that with a model kit, all the accessories you also have to build, or at least most of them. If there's any bits of sprue that I've maybe missed on these kits, then I apologise. I have tried my best, but if something isn't fitting properly that you notice, that's probably why. Because frankly, for £4, this build went together as smooth as butter. Like, yeah. First thing is his Buster Shield. The red and the white are different pieces. Really nicely detailed. This part up the top is panel lined with a black sticker in the middle. The panel lining, I'll get to that once we talk about the figure itself. But yeah, a couple of stickers for the black pieces and the window. I call it a window. Basically, this is the front of his transformed quote-unquote bird mode, which looks more like a plane, but hey-oh. But it's all in one... well, I was about to say one piece, but it really isn't. Like, I think this was 4 separate pieces that you put together. 5 if you're including the handle. But yeah, handle just goes on his arm or his fist quite easily, just like that. Also pops apart to show us the next accessory, which, if we put that back together, is the hilt for his beam saber. I'll show it in my hand. It's plain grey. Most of the beam sabers for Gundams do tend to be quite plain. A beam saber is basically a lightsaber if it was the size of a 2-story building. Because remember, Gundams are like very tall robots or mech suits. So yeah, that just pops in like that. Nice, almost neon looking green colour. It's a bit washed out looking in the camera, but trust me, it isn't. There's a few like bubbles inside the plastic, which is a bit unfortunate, but I mean, it's a £4 bootleg, but what do you expect? Like, it actually comes with 2 of these, despite only having 1 hilt. What I've seen people do, and what I would assume they want you to do, is heat this up in warm water or with a hairdryer and sort of bend the plastic so that it looks like it's swooshing. Which is fair enough. That seems like quite a good idea. I might attempt that at some point. And finally, for weapons, He comes with his Buster Cannon, or Buster Rifle. So yeah, it's a few different pieces put together, as per usual. I did glue this piece because you're not wanting that to come apart at any point, so why not? A few parts of the Gundam itself I also glued, just things that weren't quite holding up as well as I'd hoped they would, but yeah. Bit of the extra detail that you see popping out is literally just me using a Gundam marker. I think they're GM302, the grey kind I used, just to bring out a bit more of that detail. They are what's called pour type markers, so the ink literally just flows in into the grooves and works really, really nicely. But yeah, all in all, looks really nice. I do appreciate that. The handle does fold away, and if you see that little notch there, that actually fits with the groove right there. Slide that in, and you have this, which is meant for his transform mode. But I honestly think it looks quite cool on him. It's a bit heavy. The arm can't quite hold up the weight. But yeah, if you're planning on using the beam saber, the gun doesn't really have anywhere else to store, so you might as well. I know it's not accurate. Sue me. Like, that just pops back open just like so. And finally, in terms of accessories, he comes with this, which is really, really cheap. As you just heard there with me cracking it, I did put a bit of glue in there to sort of keep it solid, because it didn't fit together all that well. But yeah, it's just a standard stand. You do have a sort of crotch grabber type adapter up the top here, because even though this looks like it should fit into the hole on his derriere, it doesn't. So these fit through his legs, sort of thing, just like so, and he sits very well with it. So yeah, I'm not sure if this came with the original figure, but I am grateful it did. It's always handy to have some stands, even if they are quite cheap. Hexagonal keyed, so you have to pop that out and pop it back in for whatever direction you want it to go in, which is fair enough. I would rather it be secure than be too loose. So yeah, quite decent. So yeah, that will do it for the accessories. Let's take a look at the model kit itself. So yeah, as I alluded to before, I didn't show this like base straight out the box, like to get it looking the way I've got it looking, which is kind of detailed. You do have to use Gundam markers of some kind. The standard Gundam markers I think are like £4 a piece, which was a bit expensive for my tastes. I went for this set, which if we quickly move them out the way, these are the 300 sort of series. You get 5 normal markers and 1 eraser. That eraser is a lifesaver, by the way. Just saying. Yeah, these are pour type markers. So what happens is, like, I'm better off quickly showing you, to be honest. So let's see. So the top of it looks like a nib, but it actually isn't. So if I quickly take the Buster rifle here, and where do I want to do it? So if we see this line right here, this straight line, if I can do this without the light getting in the way so that I can actually show you it, let's swap my hands over. I'm left-handed, so apologies, I'm also doing this behind the camera. So if I literally just touch that right there, you'll see there is a splotch there. You can just wipe that away easily enough. But you'll also notice the ink is also in the crevice now, which adds a lot of detail to it. We'll do it again here. We'll do it at the corner this time. So just a quick touch, and that ink just flows to wherever you need it to go, which is very handy, very nice, and I really highly recommend these. Like, unfortunately, the pens themselves cost like 3 times the price of this bootleg model kit. But at the end of the day, like, personally, I'm going to be building more of these. I already have 2 more on the way, so look forward to that. I also bought this. Ignore the Sharpie, you get everything else with it. This was a tenner off of Amazon. It's got the snippers and files and such. So yeah, if you're looking to get into the hobby, I will leave some links in the description for those 2 sets, the markers and the snippers. So yeah, all in all, like, you do really kind of need them. So yeah, finally looking at the figure itself, as you can see, like, with that marker on it, brings out a lot of those details. Like, most of the bits that you can see that look kind of shaded, that's purely the marker that's done so. This is pretty accurate to how it looked in the show, which is what I was going for with the panel liners. The one thing that I alluded to earlier is the face is a bit plain. You should have some lines down the side of his cheeks. But yeah, a bit unfortunate. The circles on his shoulders as well, those big parts should be black, but I think the panel liner done a good enough job. I don't need to waste it with a Sharpie. So yeah, the only real stickers that I've bothered putting on this guy are on his kneecaps, those triangles, on his eyes, which is still a bit too white for my liking. I might actually put the Gundam marker in there just to give it a bit of shading. And finally, there's a sticker underneath that clear plastic piece on his chest. So yeah, in terms of the wings, unfortunately, for whatever reason, like, even though they're both on different sprues, I seem to have got 2 left wings, because both wings are supposed to have this, as far as I'm aware, they're supposed to have this sort of panel line going all the way up, whereas this one only has it a little bit, which, if we look on the back, that long panel line is on this side. So yeah, not sure how that happened, bit of a shame, but it's something that you really won't notice at all. So yeah, in terms of articulation, I do have to be a bit more careful with it, because it is a model kit. It's not really meant to be played with as such. It's meant to be posed and then left. So the head can go up that far, can go down that far. A lot of hinge and swivel and pivots every which way. It's because it's literally just a ball peg, double ball peg. So yeah, arms can go up this far. It does tend to pop out the actual joint in there. The shoulder joints are on his shoulder, so they get out of the way really nicely. You can swivel it all the way around. The wings get out of the way really easily. He does have a butterfly joint, which goes out that far. Doesn't really go back any. You try to put it back and the joint will just pop off. That's just the nature of a model kit. He has bicep swivel, double joint at the elbow, which gets him really well past 90. The only thing really in the way is these sort of talons that the Wing Gundam tends to have on him. You've got a ball hinge at the wrist, ab joints, both of them together. You can't really do much with them. They do get a bit of motion, but not a whole lot. They do swivel side to side though. These, they're a bit loose for my liking. The instructions tell you to keep them both together, but you can futz it to have them both swing separately, which I much prefer. The side skirts do get out of the way, so if you move those out of the way, he gets, honestly, a really nice split. Complete Van Damme splits there. They can also kick forward really far. And you see what I mean? Like, having these separate, a lot better. Kicks up really well. Do have a thigh rotation in there. Can't go back any because his back skirt is just a solid piece. Oh, that bit just popped off. Again, that's the kind of thing you expect from a model kit, even if it is a bootleg. Double joint at the knee. Can get really far if you bend it, but it does look quite unsightly. So you're better off leaving it like that. The feet, these sort of cap pieces are attached at the back via a ball joint, so they do kind of get out of the way. Toe pivot can go back and forward like so. Can go back that far with all the joints working in tandem, and his foot does have a sort of toe hinge almost, but it's mostly the front of his foot just in general. So yeah, all in all, like, I am really impressed with this model kit, considering the fact that it's only £4, like I keep saying. Yeah, I have a few more of these on the way, real and fake. So look forward to that. I won't be transforming it into the bird mode because, I mean, no one in the right mind is going to have it inboard mode to begin with. Oh, he's starting to pop apart. Come on, back you get. There we go. So yeah, I don't see much point in showing him off in bird mode, to be completely honest with you. So apologies to anyone who wanted to see that. I'm not having him fall apart on me on camera any more than he already is. So yeah, guys, all in all, I would say if you're looking for a new hobby, I would really recommend Gunpla. Like, honestly, I've been missing out on this ever since the sort of Star Wars and Figure Eyes ones stopped being built. But yeah, why is that popping out? That's not popping in very well. It's a bit of a shame. But yeah, definitely something I would recommend if you're looking for a hobby to do. Just be prepared, because you will get sucked in. You will want to do that next model kit that you like the look of, and it will be a never-ending cycle. Because like I said, I already have 2 more on the way, and I'm planning on building more. So look forward to some of those in the future. But yeah, anyway guys, this video has been on long enough. As I said, link in the description for this guy, as well as this kit off Amazon, and these markers also on Amazon. So yeah guys, let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see y'all later.